going on, guys? It is Blink here, back with a new guide. So this guide is a full gameplay guide before the latest update. And yes, the new P90 is beyond OP. I plan on making a guide on it very soon. Also, the V-Bucks giveaway is still going on, so make sure to visit the link in the description to enter. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications as opposed to Amazon gift card code in the comments every time I upload. By turning on notifications, you'll have a way better chance of getting here first and redeeming that code. Anyways, guys, let's get to this guide. So, back at Paradise, and I'll be changing it up in a few videos. Now, there were a few players that landed here, although I've never spotted anyone. Got myself 2 shotguns, which I can't use both, although the heavy shotgun is a solid shotgun during this season. It feels much more accurate compared to last season. The pump always felt superior until season 5. If you guys used to hate the heavy, then give it a try this season. It actually feels a lot better. Now, I spot a player across the street and I take a few shots at him. Done enough damage to know I'm able to push. He's got some super low HP and I've explained it before. I usually don't push if I don't have a solid weapon choice and if I haven't dealt enough damage. In this scenario, the damage was enough for me to push and the shotgun shot was all I had to take. You guys can see I've got myself the double SMGs and this is what I've used throughout the whole game because I was testing if it's any good. And it's actually pretty insane. You can get 60 rounds instead of 30. So anytime you fight an opponent, you'll usually still have that extra ammo after finishing a fight. Basically, the double SMG will provide you a comfortable stack of ammo when fighting. So up ahead, I can hear a player as I'm gathering materials. I dropped down on him and caught him trying to double ramp up. To make it worse, I shot his legs as he went through the floor. I rewatched it a few times and it does look like he placed the floor down before he was over top. So he ended up phasing through his own floor and I was able to take a shot at his leg. Now, another player ends up taking shots at me from the roof. So I built myself onto his level and peeked in and out quickly to try tagging him. I added a ramp above me and as I did that, I peeked out. What that ramp will do is fake your opponent out because he's going to think you're trying to build up for that high ground. And he's either going to try shooting it down or building up with you. If he shoots it down, you can peek him to take shots like I did. And if he ramps up, shoot his ramps down before he even builds up. Now, he never took shots and he just slightly peeked his head out too much because he probably thought I was going to do something, so it caught him off. That's why I was able to get in some damage. After putting on the damage, I blocked him from building, and remember what I said about editing the floors. You want to do it quick to catch your opponents out. Up ahead, I spot a player going for the rift and try taking a hunting rifle shot to see if I can land a headshot. I end up missing the shot and he goes through the rift. Why I never took the shots with my SMG was because the range was a little too far, and even if I had a rifle, yes, I could have put on some solid damage, but I don't think I'd have enough time for the elimination because the rifle does take more shots than a hunting rifle to eliminate someone. That headshot with the hunting rifle could have been the end of her. Now, I wasn't able to catch up to the rift, so this player did get away. Although, after finding a rift up ahead, I used it and saw a suspicious fort on the mountain. Spotted the same player that I saw before and I went up for the build on her. She ends up taking another rift down below and once again avoids me. Now, I dropped down to the same rift spot I was at and she goes right through the rift I was going to take. I thought I lost her, but I didn't. Followed her the whole way because I needed that elimination because I was getting very annoyed. Now, I spotted another player as I landed and quickly took a hunting rifle shot as she wasn't moving. As I moved up to try finding her, she ends up taking a shot at me and I never noticed she peeked out. I should have built a little bit earlier just in case. Now, I was able to eliminate her because she thought she had me. Had I boxed myself in, I would have had no time to heal up because expect your opponents to shoot at your materials as you're healing up. Would have given her more time to get closer to me and she would have been in shotgun range. Now, remember that I've stated to take shots back if you have an angle on your opponent. They don't expect it and you'll either eliminate them or you'll slow their push down with critical damage. I also want to mention that there is a 1080p 60 FPS option on my videos now. Never knew the video was being downgraded to a lower FPS. You guys should notice smoother videos now. People were mentioning it wasn't in 60 FPS, so I had to figure out what was the issue. And I figured out it was my render settings. If some of you also make videos and you don't see the 60 FPS option, search up on YouTube about how you can turn on the 60 FPS option on your videos. It might just be your render settings. Anyways, I'm glad I got comments about it, and sorry if you guys did notice the lack of smoothness in my guides. So you guys can see the safe zone isn't that close. Whenever you're at a far distance from the safe zone, you want to avoid pushing into fights. Now, right here, there was a player right in front of me and we ended up fighting it out. I built myself up and he started shooting at my stairs. Lined an angle up on him as he shot out my stairs and absolutely lasered him in the head with the SMG. At this type of range, the SMG is a monster, and you'll absolutely destroy your opponents. I've been in situations where another player drains my health down before I could react, and this player experienced it. I also want to mention that I'll even sometimes only use an SMG during a whole fight because of how good it is. Now, I'm talking about still fights like these. If your opponent's in your face, then you'll always want to pull out that shotgun first. Now, shortly after, another player starts pushing me, and this is where the double SMG is super OP. As this player pushed me, I used both SMGs to destroy his materials because it's very good with material damage. He got to a point where I was able to pull out my shotgun and hit him with a critical shot. I was also still able to pull out my SMG for the finisher. This is what I mean. I still had enough ammo in my SMG to finish off the fight. The power of the material damage and still being able to use it on your opponent is super solid. And even if I've got 2 gray SMGs, I'll probably grab those instead of the blue M16 at the least. Now, I also want to explain what my opponent did wrong on the push. He just kept pushing with stairs no matter what I did. Now, luckily at the start, I wasn't able to pierce through to put on some damage, but the issue was he got super close. He continued to keep building stairs and I was easily able to drop him down to the floor. This allowed me to have a headshot angle on him as he was under me. And he also kept continuing to build stairs up to me as I kept pegging him in the head. Really just never cared on what was going on and tried building up to me. In a lot of the moments I was spraying at him, he should have stopped and built himself walls to protect himself from my shots. The moment I had to reload, he could have continued pushing. Now, he also should have never built stairs as close as he did. He should have at least built up like an elevator to me. Or just made sure he was building stairs at a little bit of a farther distance. He should have never got as close as he did, and in order for him to build stairs at a farther distance, he simply should have shot back at me. That way I back off a little and play it safer. It would have allowed him to push above me with less pressure towards him. So, I spot a player up ahead and he never seemed like he was good. You can notice right off the bat when a player's not the greatest by paying attention to if they're adding jumps as they run. Jumping helps you avoid getting lined up for an easier shot as you're running. So if you haven't been jumping, then make sure you're adding jumps as you're on the move. Now, I used the bounce traps to get closer to this player and get the elimination. He hid behind a tree and never built, although I never expected too much from him. As long as he plays, he'll get better over time. Now, hopefully he's still slowly trying to build once in a while. Now, I get shot at from behind, and this player might have been following me the whole way. Thankfully, the player I eliminated earlier wasn't the greatest, or this fight could have been a 3-way fight. He tried getting closer to me, so I ended up using my bounce traps to get closer towards him, and what he did wrong was panic. I can tell he panicked because he built a staircase when I was right beside him. I used the double SMGs to shred this opponent down, and no shotgun was needed. As I was in the air from the bounce trap, I was still able to get some hits off because it's pretty accurate the closer you get. Had I used the AR instead and tried hip firing, then I would have missed every shot. After I landed, I pulled out the second SMG and got the finisher on this player. If you've got 2 SMGs, you have to be an aggressive player, because remember that the SMG isn't great at farther ranges, so make sure you're pushing for that medium distance to be able to deal a solid amount of damage. Up ahead, I spot a player and I tried getting that opening snipe to deal some critical damage. Never hit it and I had to build to take cover. Now, I tried tricking my opponent into building a fake ramp, that way I can bait him into peeking out and taking a shot. You can see he did peek out pretty far, but I unfortunately forgot to reload my sniper. So the trick might have not worked the second time, and I went in on the push as the safe zone was not that close. I could have either backed away or fought him off, and I have to try doing it quickly. I've got the high ground advantage, although that tree isn't helping my situation. I ended up getting tagged and I'm actually not sure where he shot me from. Drop down to see if I can get a free shot onto him and he ends up boxing himself in. So I go right back up to the high ground and heal up. I want to make sure I'm fully healed because this player is actually pretty good. I was only able to use one of my minis because he's still trying to push me. Now, I did have the time to potentially use another mini, although I always want to make sure I have my SMGs reloaded first. That's the downside to having 2 SMGs. You need to make sure they're both reloaded before going back into the fight. I only ended up reloading one, which was a big mistake. Ended up pushing because I felt like I had an advantage on him as he dropped. Got off a critical shotgun shot onto him and pierced through his materials to finish off this player. Had I not been able to eliminate this player inside his booth, then I would have only had a shotgun to work with. Having both SMGs reloaded is crucial when fighting opponents. Was one thing I should have 100% done in this fight. Now, I'm not in a good situation because I don't have the best of meds. I do have a campfire, although it won't put me back at 100 HP. Now, you can see I don't end up using my campfire right away, and yes, I can get caught out by another player, and it puts me in a bad situation, but the circle is coming in soon enough, and I'm not sure if I'd make it in had I used my campfire. The storm takes for 2 closer to endgame, and for example, if I used my campfire right away, I would have potentially taken damage from the storm, which would have probably put my HP down way lower than I should have had it. So as I move up, I use my sniper to scout out for any potential meds, although I do find some bandages by an RV, and I was debating on taking one and running. I never did because I wasn't sure if I'd make it into the safe zone or not. After getting into the safe zone, I think I would have in fact made it in. I just never wanted to take the risk. So after using the campfire, it put me at 92 HP, which is slightly away from perfect. So I'm in a pretty good spot. I'm jumping around and I wasn't able to spot anyone, so I was planning on heading on the mountain. The mountain can potentially still be in the safe zone during the next few circles because it's pretty close to the middle. Although after deciding, I get shot by a player behind me and quickly build myself cover. He hit a nice snipe on me and there wasn't much I could do about it. Decided to quickly mini up before he got closer because 75 HP with 2 minis is still super solid. Heard him trying to build up on me and went for the build up too. Never even saw him, but if you can hear someone trying to get above you, the quicker you notice it, the more likely you can steal that high ground from them. And that's exactly what I did. Got above and I now have a better angle to peek him. Now, once he noticed I got above, peeking wasn't his best option. He should have roofed himself off and waited until I either dropped down on him or I needed to reload my weapons. And as I reloaded, he could have edited his way up to try getting above. Now, the issue for him was that I have 2 SMGs and 2 SMGs would be easy to pierce through his roof. So he wasn't in the greatest position. Thankfully, I never got hit after miniing up because this player never had any meds, so that would have put me in a really bad situation. I did spot a drop not too far ahead and I went for it. I try to make sure I'm in the best position possible to win the game, and that extra 50 HP can help. If you spot an unlooted drop or unlooted chest, go for it because that's potentially a medkit or a slurp juice. Right here, I flipped my ramps to avoid losing momentum. Now, I usually do this, but I ended up doing it wrong and never noticed I flipped them twice, which made them face towards me. You want to flip it to where the stairs are to the left of you, that way you can continue running without losing momentum. To do this, simply flip the stairs once and you'll notice you can stay mobile as you place them. So I got the drop and there was no medkit in sight. Although I found another player's loot up ahead and he upgraded my heavy shotgun. And yes, I missed the scar because I wanted to hold on to the double SMGs because the double SMGs are just that good. I also noticed some of you guys saying I missed a few scars in my last guide. And no, I never liked the blue M16 better, but I just ended up missing the scars. I'm known for missing a lot of weapons by now, as you guys might notice. So if you notice I missed a medkit in this guide, don't be surprised. Now, there was a player up ahead and I wasn't sure where he was. I tried spotting for him and he was sitting behind something. Tried banging him with a staircase and no luck. Now, you can see I kept backing up. The reason I did that was to spot for the last player. There are still 2 players left and you don't want to tunnel vision on this player. So I made sure I'm not getting pushed in the back. I ended up pushing because I'm not in the greatest position. I'm in risk of getting shot from the house I'm at. Pushed up and just forced this opponent into peeking. Built up for that high ground and this player tried building around me when it was too late. Remember what I've talked about a few guides ago. If you're too late on the straight on stair build up, then you have to build cover for yourself or you can potentially get shot. This player never built cover above and the result was him getting eliminated. He probably also had an angle on just my staircase and could have dropped me down to the floor. As he dropped me, he could build up. This would have automatically gave him the high ground. So if you don't build off for that initial high ground, you can't attempt to do it late without building cover from above. Make sure you're doing it right. The last player shot me from the mountain, so I knew he was there. Built myself my own little porta fort, that way I can edit peek this opponent. Although he never ended up peeking, and I just waited until the circle started coming in. Now, if you want to know how I made this little fort, I created a guide about 3 weeks ago with the first 3 words, new edit peeking, just in case anyone's curious. So all I did was wait until the circle came in because he's got to push in first. If your opponent's got to push in first, then wait it out and don't peek. Once he's got to go, start taking shots at him because he's forced to move forward no matter how many times he gets hit. I was able to put on some damage and I had to move in myself. I actually got caught in the circle and that last circle chunks your health pretty hard. So you never want to get caught in it. If you've got bounce traps, use them to propel yourself forward. Now, right here, my opponent was right in my face, and I usually tell you guys to just take shots if he's right beside you, because your materials will go right in behind him, which is what happened. So that was a mistake I made, although he missed most of his shots, which kept me alive. Now, he ended up building a bunch of floors down below, and what I could have done is shot out his floors or dropped down and tried catching him as he's building them. Missed my shot and built a wall right away to avoid getting shot back. Moved up a little closer and built a few more walls because he's got that right side peeking angle. Edited the wall and got the elimination. Well guys, that's it for this guide. Hope it can help some people out. And a like and a sub would be greatly appreciated as it does help me out a lot. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day and night. And I'll see you on the next one.